Okay, so first of all, the private equity is looking for a few things. Typically $400,000 plus an EBITDA. So if you're looking at a $2 million gross revenue practice, that's at a 50% overhead, excluding doctor compensation, 50 plus 30 is 20. So 20% overhead, that's a very, very well-run, largish practice. That's $400,000. That's typically for a good DSO, that's the low end of what they're looking for. Minimum of 7 ops, so you can have multiple providers because they don't want to buy a single doctor practice due to the vulnerability of that, that key man risk. They're not gonna buy that. Typically in a growth area, typically non-Medicaid, every DSO is slightly different. I think that I've seen it a little bit. I agree with you, and I think that people that are the safest and it makes the most sense for, in a lot of cases, are late career dentists. But I'll tell you right now, the new wave of DSOs is not paying high multiples for late career dentists that are gonna walk away because they need to make sure that the providers stay with the practice after the purchase for a minimum of that 1 recap cycle, preferably 2. Okay, 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years. So the benefit I see for, and this is a crazy new wave of docs in their mid-30s to mid-40s that are selling their practices early, because we see a lot of gunners, and I might be in a bubble, but I see gunners that are 35, 40 years old that have $6 million practices that are doing 1.2 in EBITDA, and you're just like, wow, where did you come from? You are a Vulcan, right? And they're getting offered an 8 times, so even if they only got the first 70%, they're looking at life-changing money. If they're a good steward of that money, and they're still, producing $1 million a year, they're making $300,000 off their dentistry for the next 3 years, and they have, $12 million in the bank pre-tax. And then they talk to guys like this, and they put that money to use, and then they have the dividends for life, and they have the ability just to focus on dentistry. I will say one more thing, I know that this is, I could talk about this for days, as you know, but I will tell you that is a fallacy. They will sell you. They're gonna tell you that, hey man, if you just wanna do what you love doing, if you love that clinical dentistry, and you don't wanna deal with people anymore, you don't wanna deal with supplies anymore, you don't wanna deal with management, that's a bunch of BS, because they are gonna leave you alone with the exception of a call from a regional manager that says, hey, your numbers are low. You better fix those. See ya, click. Or we have a clawback and your second payoff is going to be decreased by X amount. So you're actually not getting any help from an operational standpoint for many, many DSOs. And the DSOs that are more heavy-handed and they are helping you with operational stuff, you just turned over your autonomy to them. Yep. So my opinion is there are a handful of DSOs out there that give you autonomy. If you are a good operator, you're a good option to sell. You are the ideal candidate to sell because you are going to continue to manage that practice, whether you like it or not. So that's what I've seen in the marketplace. Not to be self-serving, a DSO like mine would be hands off. I'm buying brown belt and black belt level practices that are already there with a little bit of meat on the bone. And we're not going to have regional managers. We're not going to do any of that. You do what you did best. I wouldn't have offered you a 6 or 7X if you weren't awesome. You do you. You stick with your vendors. You stick with your team. I'm going to leave you alone. Continue doing what you're doing. And we'll be partners that way.